Welcome to a special bonus episode of Rebels Without a Pod. My name is John, and this is Volume 3 of The Adults Are All Right, where we talk to our parents' generation in the hopes of gaining wisdom.
Ooh.
We got the wisdom, boy.
Well,
Just ask us the questions.
I led in with this one for the last conversation between Dad and Uncle Normie, and it was immediately like 20 minutes about what LSD was like in the 70s.
Oh.
So,
You're not going to get that from us.
wisdom. Joining me tonight for the first time making their podcast debut, my mother Solveig.
Hello.
And her friend Dara.
Hi.
Fresh from a stay last night at a haunted farmhouse.
It was.
All right. Thank you both for joining this morning. For the episode tonight, Dara has an interest in training and competing performance dogs. So we decided to revisit a movie we've covered previously on the podcast, Christopher Guest's Best in Show, all the way back in Rebels Without a Pod number 30. Just to set up the conversation a little bit, even before we get into the movie itself. But the two of you friends for a very long time at this point. Has it always kind of been, Dara, that you've been more the dog person as Mom has been more the cat person?
No, not at all.
Well,
Really?
Dara had a dog before I did. But we did, when I was in high school, we did get a poodle. It was absolutely obnoxious, but
Andy.
Andy was the name.
Andy
and
the poodle. What kind of poodle was this?
a miniature.
Oh, okay.
But he was not trained, and I think he was... He had issues for sure.
He used to pee on my father's feet. My father would come home from work, take his shoes off, sit there.
Uh-huh.
Andy would come in, start humping his foot, and then pee on it.
Right.
So I created these diapers for Andy to wear whenever we went into Dara's house.
And we're off, folks.
But we used to walk the dogs, and I used to look forward to it so much. We'd come home from school, we'd make plans to meet and walk our dogs.
In the cemetery.
In the cemetery, usually. And Dara could let her dog run because Dixie would come back when she called, but Andy wouldn't. So I would have to let Andy go with his leash on.
Mm-hmm.
And he would run after Dixie. He was like less than half the size of Dixie. But do you remember the time he got caught on something and he did this total flip in the air?
No.
Around. We were worried that he was going to get caught up with his leash, but he survived. But then I would have to chase after Andy to get a hold of him again. He would never come back.
Interesting. So was that the last dog that you owned or really had in your life?
Yes, because my mother and stepfather still had the dog when I moved to Connecticut with Dara, and I don't know, the dog lived for quite a few more years after that. And then they got what did they have?
A Pekingese? Or
No, a Shih Tzu or
Shih
something
Tzu,
like that, named Hun Su.
Hansu, I remember.
Do you remember
from when I was
Hansu?
young. Yeah.
But then, then after that we've got cats, and it's been Dara with dogs, so it's always been interesting to...
Right. So that's been the majority of your adult life. I remember, Mom, you telling a story in your 20s about there was this cat, when you were living in Connecticut for the first time, you had roommates, you had a cat named Munson? Am I correct in remembering that? He would jump on your shoulders.
Oh, that was Cecil.
Cecil the cat.
Cecil, that belonged to Truda, my roommate Truda. He was all black cat. And if I was the first one home from work, we were on the 4th floor in an apartment, and we only had one mailbox key. So I would come home, go upstairs, get the mailbox key. But Cecil liked to ride on my shoulders. So he would stand in front of me, wiggle his butt, and I knew he was going to jump up onto my shoulders. So he would jump up on my front, and I would guide him a little bit, and he'd end up behind my shoulders, and he and I would walk down the stairs, all 4 flights of stairs, to get the mail, and then we'd walk back up again. That was his daily ritual.
And Cecil was just relaxing on your shoulders.
Just hanging out on the back of my shoulders. It was a daily ritual, and he really loved it. But one day, I came home, and it was a holiday, so there's no mail. I forgot to tell Cecil. So he's ready to go for the walk down the stairs, and I didn't realize he was standing behind me. and I was getting something out of the refrigerator, and I guess I was the only one in the apartment, and I guess he couldn't tell my front from my back or whatever. But he jumped up expecting me to give him that little boost. But he didn't get it because it was on my back, and he ended up wrapping his paws around my neck. Scared the hell out of me because I had no idea what was going on. But he didn't know. He didn't do it on purpose. I had forgotten to tell him there was no mail that day.
So in a way, both of you were a little bit at fault. So, Dara, for you, before we kind of get into like the movie itself, going back like a little bit, I want to be sort of very kind of clear about the language when I said you train and compete performance dogs. Could you tell me how long you've been doing that? Like, just how long ago did you get started? How many dogs have you been involved with as part of that work?
Early 90s, and the breed that I had was Salukis, which nobody's heard of. They're an Egyptian greyhound, and they're a sight hound, so they use their eyes for clues when you're training, and they also use their eyes a lot for hunting.
Okay. Is for hunting dogs, is that rare a little bit for like having a breed that's are Salukis more dependent on like sort of sight visual cues than other dogs kind of within like within the other hunting breeds?
Yes, yes. These dogs were used for hunting on their own. They'd be sent out. Salukis would be sent out after gazelle.
Oh, okay.
So the Arabs would be on horseback or maybe a camel and be following the dog. Sometimes they'd carry one dog on the back of the horse, and then when the first dog got tired, they'd let the second dog go to get this animal. So they were bred to hunt alone, whereas other breeds, hunting breeds, were bred to actually work with a human.
Oh, interesting.
So the sight hounds, the ones that use their eyes, Borzois, Pharaoh hounds, Ibethan hounds, there's a list of them, and the Salukis, they're harder to train because they were bred to work alone.
So these other these other hunting breeds have more of a like there's more of a codependence between like them and like the actual human being.
Yep.
So how many of these dogs have you trained totally in the time that you've been doing this?
Well, I've had 7, and now I have a whippet that I'm in the process of training. But of the 7, 5 of them were probably competitive, and what I would do is something called lure coursing, which is specific to sight hounds. At least it used to be. It's kind of become, in my opinion, bastardized in some ways. But sight hounds were the only breeds that were allowed to compete, and they chased a plastic bag over the course of, 800-900 yards, and the bag would zig and zag, and it was supposed to simulate hunting.
They're actually pursuing a gazelle, a rabbit, something like that.
Yeah, right. And you don't have to train a whole lot for that. It's instinct. You let the dog go.
So it just how long do they think that this particular breed has existed and been domesticated, been kind of trained and used for like this kind of work?
Well, the Saluki supposedly was one of, or perhaps the first domesticated dog to work with Arabs.
Really?
They were considered clean, where all the other dogs by the Saudi Arabians, they were allowed in the tent, whereas other dogs were considered curs and left outside.
Oh, interesting.
So we're talking
hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yeah, even in the Egyptian hieroglyphics, I mean, it looks more like a pharaoh hound to me, but some people will say, oh, look, there's a Saluki.
These are ancient world-like depictions of this particular dog. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd never heard that explanation about why they're so aloof.
Oh,
and so singular.
Yeah, it's because that's how they were. That's what they were bred to be.
Huh. Interesting.
Which would actually bring us to the show we watched last night. I know you're not ready to go there, but just so I don't forget, is so when you're seeing the dogs in the ring, a Saluki, technically, if you're going to go to the breed standard, which is they are aloof, they shouldn't be wagging their tails and all over.
So the breed standard, hearing that term just sort of like put out, I would assume that these are physical characteristics, but these can even be behavioral standards up to and including whether or not they wag their tail.
Yeah, yeah. Or how friendly they are to people they don't know. And Salukis typically were aloof.
Mm-hmm.
So if you had a friendly Saluki, you'd lose points?
Well, that's the thing with this whole breed standard. I mentioned sports becoming bastardized. Well, this is another example where people breed dogs, some people breed dogs so that they will win in the show ring. And winning in the show ring means a judge likes your dog for X, Y, and Z.
Uh-huh.
So let's say a dog...
Like they like your dog specific to like the breed standard. Like they
They're
set
supposed to.
expectations. Okay.
But every once in a while, something creeps in. Actually, frequently something creeps in. And I was going to give you an example. Salukis are supposed to be longer than they are tall. The Oswalks are tall. They're like a rectangle on end, whereas a Saluki is a rectangle on its side. But we've seen Salukis getting longer and longer and longer, which I think is really ugly. But judges started liking that look. And
Is
so
there
they
a purpose to that look? To run faster?
No, and that's what gripes me, is that instead of breeding the dog to a standard that should be...
Standard.
that should help the dog do its job, which for a Saluki would be running. So you build this freight train of a dog, breed this freight train of a dog, they're not going to be able to run as fast as the dog that's not. So they start edging toward beauty rather than purpose.
Beauty to aesthetics, and not just aesthetics, but like somewhat arbitrary aesthetics that can be unrelated or even kind of counter to what this animal was kind of intended for originally.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Have you ever noticed German Shepherds? The way their back legs, their hock is so low, they're almost walking on a back leg that's from hock to...
What's a hock? Like a
like
knee
an
joint?
elbow?
An elbow joint?
Instead of walking, I can't explain it, but instead of walking on their feet, they're almost walking on their leg, and they look crippled to me. And if you look at pictures of German Shepherds from, I'll say, 100 years ago, they don't look like that.
Okay. And what would the intention sort of be then? Just, again, like arbitrary aesthetics?
I think it's arbitrary aesthetics. Now, if you talk to a German Shepherd person, I don't know that breed, but I know the look, and I don't like that look.
Interesting. Well, that's a good segue into the movie itself. So we'd introduced this previously when you've done our episode, but just a quick recap. Best in Show, 2000 mockumentary, directed by Christopher Guest. The second in a trilogy of films that Guest had directed between 1996's Waiting for Guffman and 2003's A Mighty Wind. Stars Guest alongside Jennifer Coolidge, John Michael Higgins, Peter Hitchcock, Jane Lynch, Michael McKean, Catherine O'Hara, Parker Posey, Fred Willard, Ed Begley Jr., Larry Miller, Bob Balaban, and Eugene Levy, who also co-wrote the film. Just a murderer's row, like kind of improvisers and comedians from that generation. The movie was released to widespread critical acclaim and continues to rank on a number of modern American comedy bests of lists. When we covered this film on the show about a year ago, this is a movie that, it can be when you're doing a show like this, like the reception of the film can sort of be up and down depending on like the theme that we're doing, personal preference, what we're covering. Best in Show, when the four of us kind of watched it together, was just something that everybody loved. Everybody got really excited about. So getting in, we like the three of us watched the movie. I believe it's not the first time for anybody. We'd all seen it before.
Correct, I've seen it.
But we revisited last night. What did you two think? Did you have a good time going back to this film?
Yeah, it was just such a spoof, and the satire, which I really enjoy. But I've been to a lot of dog events with Dara, and you do not see people like that on the events that Dara goes
It's
to.
a sporting event versus a confirmation.
You described what's depicted in Best in Show last night as more of a beauty contest than any kind of like actual sort of kind of like performative or athletic event.
All right, that's my personal perspective, and other people who show dogs would not agree with me at all. That's my bias. Conformation is considered a sport, and the purpose of it is to put on display breeding stock, so to speak. So there is a purpose to it,
Mhm.
that if they are champions who follow the standard,
Mhm.
breeders are more apt to sell those dogs
Mm.
than if they hadn't put them in the show ring. Even that's wrong.
Mhm.
But what I have to say is that conformation is specifically to pull out the best of breeding stock
Mhm.
that match the standard of the breed.
Right.
Whereas my sport, which is mostly coursing, but I do agility and this obedience as well, is to show what a dog can do, how
So-
they can use their brain.
Are these people doing this to get to make their dog more valuable for a breed?
Right. Is
dog? For selling their sperm, or
this like deliberately sort of like related to
the business of?
to a business to sort of like kind of put dogs out to stud or to breed or whatever?
No,
No.
I'm going to talk about responsible breeders
Mhm.
who breed to a standard. They're trying to improve. They're trying to improve not only the looks of the dog, but what the dog can do. Because if it's bred to its standard, it should be form and function.
Right.
So you're looking at the form, and if it's good form, it should be able to function. Like Salukis, they should be able to run and have endurance for miles.
Mhm.
So that's what a good breeder is going to breed to,
Mhm.
not for money.
Mhm.
In fact, most breeders lose money, responsible breeders.
Really. Really.
Saluki breeders tend to breed every 4 or 5 years, that's all.
Mhm.
I found that Whippet breeders, the breed that I have now, because I'm old and it's smaller,
Mhm.
they tend to breed a whole lot more.
Mhm.
But they place them in good homes, and the Whippets are out there doing lots of sports.
Mhm.
But no, a good breeder's not in it for money. They're in it for improving the breed.
Mhm. So now this film has one of my sort of favorite kind of introductory jokes, just in a movie ever, where it's set up between this kind of middle-aged yuppie couple, the Swans, and they're talking with their therapist, and they're sort of bad. There's kind of this back and forth of, like, this couple is talking about what sounds like their child has just walked in on them having sex, and the child is kind of very traumatized by it, and the scene is kind of quiet, it's tense, there's this back and forth, and then finally it pans over to their, what you realize is not their child, but their dog. The dog is on a tiny therapist couch, and the dog's not really paying attention to anything that's going on, it's more or less just falling asleep like on a therapist couch. That for me, this movie kind of kicks off. It's a great joke, but it also does kind of set up this thing of the comedic conceit of the people is it's about a group of folks that love dogs so much that they kind of are putting human things onto basically what is just like an animal. Like
Anthropomorphize it.
Anthropomorphize.
I
It's
see
their
it.
children that they never had.
Right.
Well, not necessarily. Don't put that just because I've never had children.
That
That's not
wasn't
what I'm
anything towards
just
you. It's
wondering.
Uh-huh.
If you don't have a child
I never
to
thought about
focus
that,
on,
but nobody depicted in the film actually
Had
has
children.
kids.
so they had to put their attention somewhere. So they it all goes to the dog.
Mhm.
And if they had 3 or 4 kids, the dog probably would have been a normal dog.
Are you saying that my dogs aren't normal? My dogs are well trained, respectable animals, not like in that show. What?
Let
Tell
it
me
be-
a complaint you have about my dog.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I don't have a complaint
All
about
right.
my dog.
Okay.
Just want to make sure.
So like obviously just all I think it's kind of it's 5 sets of people and their dogs totally that are kind of followed over the course of the movie. Dara, for you, were these kinds of people, were these personality types, was there anything to you recognizable in the in the personality, the psychology of like these folks that like even for comedic effect, these types of people they were following around?
Oh, people all the time they're talking to their dogs and say, oh, give it to mommy, give it to daddy. See, I hate all that stuff. I'm different in a lot of ways. I would never call one of my dogs. I wouldn't call the vet and say, I'm Hoppet's mom and I need to make an appointment. But people do that all the time. They put clothes on the dogs, like that hat that dog was wearing.
Right.
I mean,
the tiny crown that the standard poodle was going around.
That too. I mean, all that stuff I just think is demoralizing to a dog. I hate it.
Interesting.
That's my own personal stuff. And I have a friend who loves to put things on her dog. And when one of her whippets is cold, she puts a scarf. It's actually a snood just on its neck. That's the only thing it's got on. It's running around in this bright pink neck gaiter. And I just think it's stupid. She insists it keeps him warm, though.
I see. So for like the people sort of depicted in the movie, other than the swans, which is the middle-aged couple with the Weimaraner, am I pronouncing that?
Weimaraner.
Weimaraner. Obviously this is a miserable marriage, a miserable relationship with these people that are very kind of tense and upset. Like the dog sort of picks up on that energy. It misbehaves. It barks at strangers, jumps up on the judge sort of randomly at the exhibition. Other than that, question: would you kind of consider like the people that are depicted here? Are they good dog owners, eccentricities aside?
That's actually
that is a good question.
That's a really good question. No, the swans were horrible dog
So
owners.
yeah, just putting them aside, which is really kind of
okay. Putting them aside. Yeah. There was one thing I wanted to say though before I answer that question because I'll forget things. You know when you said the dog was jumping on people and
just randomly freaking out when like a
right.
stranger.
And the dog's freaking out because it's never been given boundaries, and those people are screaming in front of it. And
despite all his time in therapy.
Blaming other people than the dog.
Yes, and I wanted to talk about something called kennel blindness, which is you can't see in your dog its misbehavior. So when the dog in that scene kind of growled and went for this one man who went to pat it, the owners blamed.
Immediately jumped to, you must have poked the dog.
Yeah, you must have done something, it's your fault.
Right.
And then when the dog, I guess, jumped on the judge, the first thing they said, oh, never done it before.
Right.
Well, I've seen dogs do things over and over again and have the owner say, they've never done that before.
Right.
When they have, they refuse to see it. They can't see any faults in their own
He's
dogs.
all right is the little line I feel like you hear quite a lot.
Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. So here we have this dog who's potentially dangerous, the Weimaraner.
Right.
I mean, she did jump on the judge. I don't know if she bit the judge, but and the owner doesn't recognize it. It becomes a danger for everybody.
Sure. How about outside of that though? How about like the other? Obviously, the other people really kind of dote on the dogs. They may it some part of that is comedic exaggeration. Some part of that is maybe these people are kind of doing things to kind of fill in. Their dog is maybe like a little bit filling in parts of their lives that they don't get otherwise. But would you say generally that these are pretty good dog owners for what's depicted in the movie?
From what's depicted in the movie, I'm trying to think. Okay, so the guy who owns the bloodhound. He seems like a regular guy, except he talks too much about fly fishing. But it seems like he gets his dog out. They do things together. It gets to walk. And then the two men with the Shih Tzus, they carried him
Miss
around.
Agnes and Tyrone.
Yes. You see them walking around the ring, but that's about all.
Right.
And then, what was the dog's name? Willie?
Winky the Terrier.
Winky.
It was Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy.
Right. Winky. Well, we didn't see him doing much of anything either. So I think a good dog owner, takes their dog out, goes for a walk,
gets them exercise, gets them tired,
gets them socialized.
Right.
So the Swans actually they were horrible owners, but the others I didn't see enough of to know. Well, when they weren't driving and going to this show, what were they doing with their dogs?
Interesting.
But the dogs were so important to them too, though. I mean, it's they live their life for their dogs, and if that's what they chose to do, then they were just really having a good time with them.
So like a question for you, like do dogs when they kind of compete either in these as you describe kind of beauty standard competitions or these kind of performance things? Do you have so? Let's actually just kind of focus on what was depicted in the movie. But are those stressful things, like a little bit for the dog? You think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
yeah. To bring a dog into a huge arena,
Mm-hmm.
and they can sense when their owner or their handler is nervous.
Mm-hmm.
That's hard.
Right. Right.
And you usually can't just bring a dog in and have a dog, whether it's conformation or I'll say agility, because with my coursing, that's instinct. There's no training involved with that, and they either love to chase or they don't. But when I do agility, that involves a lot of training and teamwork. And for the breeds that I work with, it's harder for them to work with people than some of the other breeds. And what was your question?
So just whether generally is in kind of what's depicted in sort of these dog exhibitions. I was just kind of curious whether this is a exciting and stimulating thing for a dog, or whether it tends to be a bit more stressful. Whether it has to be, whether it tends to be something that they need to be trained for, or have to kind of just deal with or surpass a little bit.
Yeah, they have to be acclimated. That's the word I want. And a lot of people who are going to do sports, whether it be conformation or the performance sports and putting a dog in a ring, they'll socialize their dogs in different ways, like take them out to Lowe's, where a dog can go to see
just kind of get them accustomed
people,
to crowd,
noise,
large numbers of unknown people.
being in different places. And when I do my performance sports, I know that the first couple times I have them in the ring, they're not going to probably do much of anything. Leela, one of my Salukis, all she'd do is run around.
But I have to say that going to these things with Dara, the dogs just seem so excited when they're getting there and they're being held back and they're waiting to be able to run, and they're just, it's all you can do to hold them in place because they just want to go and do it, and it looks like they're having such a good time.
And another piece of that is in conformation, you have to dress up. Men typically wear a tie and a sport coat, or women wear pantyhose. I can't believe it. Now, when I go out, I'm dressed like in anything I can possibly put on myself to get out early enough. There's no dress code in any of the sports.
One of our on the podcast when we review this, one of our favorite bits is John Michael Higgins. He plays one of the Shih Tzu owners. Every time he comes out to show his dog, he's just got his arms out.
That's not how people show. That was definitely for the movie.
Yeah, it was one of the hard things I personally laughed the hardest at when I saw.
Oh, he was great.
Yeah.
He was great.
They were my favorite couple.
Let me just say one more thing about that. You'll never get me to shut up now. Is you want the spotlight to be on your dog when you go in the conformation ring.
Right.
The way he was dressed with this
Flamboyantly.
buttons and holding his hand out and everything.
He had two different outfits for both rotations. He had a completely different set of makeup on for the second one.
Yeah. So it's like you don't want the attention on you. You don't want the judge looking at you. You want the judge looking at your dog and judging your dog.
This again sort of gets the point we mentioned earlier about just again, it is kind of done for comedic effect, but you do get the sense for a lot of these people it's like the dog is maybe kind of fulfilling something that they're not necessarily that they're not necessarily getting in their own lives.
Well, non-dog people, and you two are non-dog people, you seem to be saying over and over again that these dogs fill something in our lives that we're not getting elsewhere.
Not necessarily for everybody, but it's just at least for the characters, the way I think a lot of these characters are kind of written and perceived in the movie itself.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I think we all need something or should need something that fulfills different parts of our life.
Sure.
I think obsession, and that's what this movie is showing as obsession, is a bad thing most of the time, I think, with anything.
Right.
Whether it be dogs, cats, your job, whatever.
Right.
Smoking dope. When things become an obsession, then it begins to rule your life, and that's what I saw in this movie. Is the dogs were more or less ruling the owners' lives.
What I personally get from my parents' cat Dexter is this yearn for but unfulfilled thing in my life to just have this demon howling at me when I'm trying to eat a bagel in the morning.
Well, you're not paying attention to him.
I am
and
paying
his
nothing
needs.
but attention. So it's literally I take a bite of breakfast. I look at him. He howls mournfully like he has never been fed. He has never been let outside. He's never.
John, you know what that's all about?
What is that?
They never trained the goddamn cat. That cat has trained them.
Yeah.
I'm going to sit at this door and I'm going to make all this noise and bother you,
Right.
in hopes that you'll let me out or feed me or whatever. That dog cat needed to have been
Right.
told it can't do that.
Yeah, I can't wait until you give up on dogs and you have cats. and see
never
how
having
you train
cats.
them.
Let's pivot like a little bit from like the dogs to the humans in this movie. But did you guys? I mean, it's like the level of kind of talent on like display in these films. Like all of like the main actors are just well known, hugely accomplished, have had very long comedic careers. Any particular favorites out of this movie?
Oh yeah, the handler of the poodle, the standard poodle.
Oh, Jane. Did she was on Glee for
I think
years
she
and
was,
years.
yeah.
Jane, not Jane Curtin.
No.
It's just
Lynch.
Jane Lynch, thank you. Yeah.
If I were going to be friends with anybody, she'd be the person I would choose to be
Right.
friends. She was obsessed, yes, but she just seemed the most normal to me, I guess.
She seems certainly the most kind of professional and sort of locked in out of everybody there.
Right. That, I mean, well, she did have that stupid party for her dog and the ice sculpture and all that stuff,
Right.
but...
You kind of put that more on Jennifer Coolidge and her 110-year-old husband.
I don't think I'd want to be friends with Jennifer Coolidge
Right.
or any of... Oh, certainly not the fly fisherman. He talked too much.
That
I
was
liked
the
his
actual.
dog, though.
That was the actual director of the movie. That was Christopher.
Was it
Guest.
really?
Yeah.
That's Christopher Guest, really?
Yeah. He sort of most famously played lead guitarist in This Is Spinal Tap.
Oh.
Nigel, I want to say. He has been married to Jamie Lee Curtis for about 40 or so years at this point.
my
She-
God.
Oh, didn't they show that on the movie? I think they did.
Yeah.
Or you said it. Or
I
something when
think
we
I
were watching
mentioned
it.
it.
Wasn't in the movie.
Mom, how about yourself? The favorite?
Oh, I
favorite
liked
comedian?
the person that played one of the guys in the gay couple.
Which one?
Michael McKean. He was Stefan.
Yes, he was also he was also in Spinal Tap. He was the lead guitar. He was the lead singer in Spinal Tap.
What I remember him most is from Laverne and Shirley.
Sure.
Oh, my
He,
gosh.
he was Squiggy, and what was the other guy's name?
I never watched
Oh,
Laverne and Shirley.
he was. There were this couple of guys that were always trying to. They were befriending Laverne and Shirley, and I think they wanted more than be friendship, but they kind of like no. But they were part of the show. They were hysterical.
Favorite joke from the film? Well, like I think a bit of physical comedy that it's just the show that I host. It's me and like 3 other guys. This isn't something we kind of locked in on too much, but if you go on Letterboxd and you read other people's reviews of this film, out of like the top 20 rated, half of those reviews are for women talking about how the Catherine O'Hara wobbly knee walk is the
that was
funniest bit
funny.
of physical
That
comedy.
was-
I was wondering
visual gag.
if she had a stand-in for that, particularly when there was the overshot, they were looking down when the dog did win. But having those heels on and making yourself walk like that and doing that take over and over and over again, I was like, wow.
That's another thing. You would never see high heels in a show ring, a confirmation ring.
Really.
Sneakers. You gotta run
So
with
you're
your
all
dog.
dressed up wearing sneakers?
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah. Or some kind of a sturdy shoe.
Other favorite jokes from the movie? Anything else?
Think of any jokes. I guess when the man came out with the Shih Tzu and he's in that outfit and his arms out ridiculously, that made me laugh. I don't know.
Yeah.
The scene where I don't know her name, the poodle's mother and the 100-year-old
Jennifer Coolidge?
yes,
Okay, yeah,
and she was
yeah.
talking about how they spend a lot of time
Either talking or
not
not
talking. We can not talk for a long time.
Right. Boy, this movie. This is, I think, for what we've covered on the podcast, one of the most rewatchable films because I think I mentioned briefly last night, but this was distilled down to 90 minutes from 100 hours of improvisation and just random scenes that they shot. And these actors know the characters so well. They know like the personality and the comedic tics so well. And there are just so many little details that you could just kind of catch every time they come take like a pass at this movie.
This is wanting to make me watch. Was the other one that they did Blowing in the Wind?
A Mighty Wind.
A Mighty Wind.
That's the folk music one they did
Right.
a few years
It's
later.
making me want to watch that again.
Dara, I was hoping you could explain to me a little bit some research that I did as part of like the movie trivia. I looked up the actual dogs' names for who performed in the film, and I just want to kind of read through these names
The
quickly.
dog names?
The actual dog's name.
Okay.
Like the dog performance, and I'll kind of go through everything, and if you could just tell me what the hell is going on with these names, I'd really appreciate that. First, Beatrice the Weimaraner, played by a dog named Canadian champion Erica Escobar Take Me Dancing. Winky the Norwich Terrier, played by Canadian champion Urchins Borello. Hubert the Bloodhound, played by champion Quiet Creeks Stand By Me. Miss Agnes the Shih Tzu, by Canadian champion Rapture's Classic. Mom just looks more and more confused as I'm going through these. Tyrone the Shih Tzu, played by Canadian champion Cimarron's Red Hot Kisses. And then Rhapsody in White, the Standard Poodle, aka Butch, played by Canadian champion Excel's Desi Does It With Pizzazz.
But what? I'm not looking totally confused because Dara's taught me these names that are this long and have all these titles after them.
Right.
Somewhere in there is the name of the dog, kind of, and the name of the breeder, and it's all part of those long names, the official names that they have.
Right.
Yeah, it's a registered name, and with those names, when you said grand champion or champion, that's a title that can go in front of the dog's name. There are titles that go in front of the dog's name and behind the dog's name.
Okay.
Right? So you're starting with a title. The next word is usually the kennel name. So, like Cimarron.
Cimarron. Right.
I'll just use that as an example. This breeder has probably bred, I don't know, I have no idea how many dogs the person has bred, but Cimarron would be in the title of each dog's registered name, so that when I look at the registry, let's say I'm thinking of buying a dog, I'll know,
everything is grouped together by breeder name.
Well, I'll know, Cimarron, that's so-and-so's breeding. So that's the next is the kennel name. And then after that is the name you've named the dog, which usually has a theme.
Okay.
So I remember one litter being a six-pack. There were 6 dogs, and each one was named after a beer. So it might be Grand Champion Cimarron's Modelo, followed by titles.
Right.
My dog currently is Field Champion. High Flight is the kennel name.
Field champion, High Flight.
That will leave a mark. And his call name, which is the name we use to call the dog. His call name was Bruiser when I got him.
Bruiser.
You get the connection? That will leave a mark.
Okay.
Bam. Bruiser.
If we had to name Dexter like this, so I'm thinking Connecticut champion, breakfast time howler. Right.
Now you have to get White Memorial in there because that's where we found him.
Right.
And you have to have
Canadian
kennel
champion,
name.
White Memorial, passive aggression.
Dexter, the killer.
Yeah.
All right, so White Memorial would be your kennel name.
Yeah.
And not everybody does that, but that's what you're looking at in those names there.
Right.
So who came up with Hoppet?
Me. He was the first non-Saluki that I had, so I gave him a famous Saluki's name.
Oh.
So Hoppet was a famous Saluki. So my Whippet has a famous Saluki's name.
Oh, interesting.
I changed him from Bruiser.
It's similar to just naming a cat after, naming a cat to Garfield or Felix.
Yeah, or Dexter after a serial killer.
There we go. If this past week has been any indication.
No wonder that cat howls at the door.
All he wants to do is go outside and murder.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, let's kind of wrap this up. We did this on the original podcast as well, but would you like to take a little quiz on dog facts?
Sure.
There we go. All right.
I defer to Dara, but go
Okay.
ahead.
Well, let's do this. If Dara can't get it, Mom has a chance to steal.
Right.
Maybe we should do Mom
It
first.
should be the other way around, probably.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we can do that. So some of these are multiple choice. Some are true or false. Some are kind of get closest to the number. So I'll adjust accordingly. But so let's start here with Mom. But according to the American Kennel Club, as of 2023, what is the country's least popular dog breed? Is it A, the Grand Basset Griffon Vendine, B, the English Foxhound, C, the North African Slowhai? Am I pronouncing that right?
I think it's Sluey.
Sluey. The North African Sluey.
It's very similar to it.
Or D, the Norwegian Lundhound.
I would say that C.
C. That is actually correct.
The first one is what, do you remember the Barney that Linda had?
Petit
Okay, yeah.
Petit Graffine Von Dien, Petit Basset Von Dien Graffine or something like that. PBGB.
Petit Basset Griffon Vendian.
There you go.
Petit Baguette Escargot.
That's right.
That was Barney.
I see. But according to the American Kennel Club...
Did you know that answer?
No.
That was just a good guess.
The North African Slowy ranks 200th in breed popularity behind the other three mentioned.
How do you spell that?
Sloughi. Slow.
Huh, then it's not the breed I don't know that breed.
Right. I kind of figured it was like Slooky adjacent or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
the
from America.
Sloughi is a Sloughy, which looks very much like a Saluki, but that one I don't know. I'm gonna have to look it up.
They are known for their qualities as hunting and guard dogs, and it's thought that ancestor breeds were depicted in Egyptian tomb paintings and hieroglyphs.
It must be the Sloughy.
Got it.
Just a different spelling.
Yeah. So, Mom's on the board with a point. Second question, true or false? Dogs can only see in black and white.
Oh, I have no idea.
False.
It's false. That is correct.
But I've heard that, but it's not true they see in color.
The idea
It is
dogs...
true. They can see
Yeah.
not the same kind of color we see. But that's why in agility they have it yellow when they're coming down, because if it were a different color, it would blend in with the ground in their vision.
Huh.
So colors are used.
So I got like a little bit more info here. The idea that dogs only seeing in grayscale is a myth attributed to dog trainer Will Judy in 1937. Current research suggests dogs can see a range of colors similar to humans that have severe red-green color blindness. Not to defend Meg or Hamilton Swan, but there is evidence dogs specifically prefer yellow tennis balls over other colors in research they've done.
Did you know that?
About preferring yellow, no.
Yeah.
But I knew that they could see yellow very well, and that's why it's used on agility equipment.
So this is an easier one. Let's kind of throw this to Mom first. What was the first dog breed to receive modern training as a guide dog for the blind?
Oh.
Was it the Labrador Retriever, the German Shepherd, the Golden Retriever, or the Boxer?
I would say it was either the Labrador or the German Shepherd, because the two associations that train dogs for the heart of the blind are Labrador.
It's not the Labrador, but your second guess was correct. It's the German Shepherd.
Because our friend who has no eyes, he always had Labradors.
And Candy's organization
It's all Labradors, yeah.
Mostly.
But isn't that true that one organization does the Labradors and the other one does the German Shepherds?
Oh, it's specifically like divided up by breed.
Boy, I don't know.
So the first modern guide schools were established in Germany after World War I, where German Shepherds were trained to assist blind veterans. International interest in guide dogs was piqued in 1927 after Dorothy Harrison Eustace, an American dog trainer living in Switzerland, wrote about the German schools for the Saturday Evening Post.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So this question is for the both of you. Point goes to whoever comes closest. What % of dogs in the United States sleep in their owners' beds?
Mine.
I
We've
would
got
guess
50%
that's
representation here.
pretty high. Everybody I know lets their dog sleep in bed with them. Do you know anybody that doesn't let their dog sleep with them? Does Elaine let the dog sleep with?
She didn't up until now. She's only got one, so she will.
Well, you probably can't say 100%.
No, I'll say
90%?
I'll say 85.
85. How about your guess?
90.
90. Dara would technically win if the number is 45%. This is especially impressive considering the United States also has the world's highest rate of dog ownership, with an estimated 78 million domesticated dogs as of 2024.
Well, we must know more people that love their dogs more.
I guess so.
Oh, it's not a matter of loving the dog. Being in a crate at night has a lot of benefits.
What part of an adult dog's body can create a unique, unchanging print, much like a person's fingerprint? Is it the forepaw, the back paw, the bite mark, or the nose? You can go to Mom on this first.
Can make a mark.
Like an unchanging mark, like a fingerprint.
Good luck.
Nose print.
The nose print is correct. Kennel Institutes have accepted canine nose prints as proof of identity as far back as 1938. But in 2021, Korean researchers at Seoul National University confirmed that nose prints from dogs aged 2 months and up actually constitute a unique and unchanging biomarker.
I never knew that. That's great.
Yeah. How many of the 10 most popular dog breeds in the 1930s American lists remain in the top 10 today?
How many of the top 10?
Yes.
Labrador Retrievers.
It's more than zero. We can start out there.
Right. Well, Labrador's been in the top 10 since 1930. Jeez. Labrador, German Shepherd's probably one.
Aren't they pretty much the
I
same?
know. I think they do stay pretty much the same. You want a percentage?
How many out of 10? Greater than zero.
7?
5.
It's actually only 2.
We lose.
The Beagle and the Standard Bulldog are the only overlaps between the lists 100 years ago. Lists in the 1930s were dominated by Terrier and Spaniel breeds, while current lists are trapped by Retrievers, as you said, German Shepherds, and French Bulldogs.
So I had the Retriever and the German Shepherd for these days.
Question 7, and this is a good one, I think, for Dara. Can a greyhound beat a cheetah in a 5K race?
In a 5K?
Yes.
No. I would say no.
You would say no. The answer is actually yes. Although cheetahs can run up to 70 miles an hour, they can only do so for about 30 seconds.
That's what I was going to say, is when you said 2K.
5K.
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 Wait a minute. What was the question?
Can a greyhound beat a cheetah in a 5K race?
And I said yes, because they have the endurance, right?
No, you said no.
I said no. I misspoke. I meant yes. Well, no, maybe I didn't,
Right.
because the Salukis have endurance. The Greyhounds don't. And you're saying 5K, which
5K.
is what, about 3 miles?
Right. So the cheetahs can do 70 miles an hour for about 30 seconds, but greyhounds can maintain a slower top speed of up to 35 miles an hour for coming up to 12 minutes. At least what the research says.
I'd have to...
I have to go to the judges on that one?
I'd have to go to the judges.
So we'll circle back. Final question. The human nose has about 5 million sense receptors. How many do dogs have?
They can smell a drop of urine in a gallon of water. I have
Whoa.
no idea.
Infinite.
No? Ballpark?
No idea.
300 million is the number. The dog's nose is so sensitive that it can actually sense heat and thermal radiation. Both blind and deaf dogs are still apparently able to hunt.
That I would, if they don't bang into trees. But if it were straight away.
All right. So that's about kind of covers it for everything I had. Any final thoughts on this before we wrap up? Anything that you want to say to dog owners of the world?
Train your dogs.
Train your
Don't
dogs.
let the dogs train you. That's what I would say.
Anything you would like to say to the cat owners of the world?
Good luck.
Let's just kind of say this sort of really quickly before we wrap up. A true moment of Dexter passive aggressiveness is my mother for the last few weeks has been sort of laid up after some surgery, and during the night he kind of comes and cuddles a little bit, but he
uses us for heat.
He uses us for heat basically. It's very self motivated. But one of just the most heartbreaking things I saw yesterday is Dara, you come to visit, and you sit down in the rocking chair where my mother usually sits. Dexter, who's been ignoring my mother while she's convalescing the entire time. Not
totally. Yeah. But quite a bit, but not totally.
He'll come up, he'll kind of sniff, you pet him a couple times, he'll go running off to murder. But Dara sits down in the rocking chair. The mom usually sits. Dexter immediately kind of pops up in her lap. despite probably smelling like dogs, despite all the warning signs.
No. Yeah. So the chair was what he wanted. Mm-hmm. The lap in that chair. Well, but
hopefully
I still love him.
Yeah. And hopefully, despite all that, your friendship will remain intact.
Yes. Well, she's the same thing. When Solvay's at my house, we each call Hoppet to lie on the couch with us. I have 2 separate couches, and he usually gets up with Solvay instead of me. Yeah. Really?
Dara had a little story to add to what we were talking about before.
You know how the main couple, the woman, had sex with a lot of different people?
Cookie Googleman.
Yes, Cookie.
Yeah, right.
In our club, my dog club,
here we go.
Now I grew up before, I belonged to a dog club before there were computers. Uh-huh. And all of a sudden, many of us have computers, and we learn how to write to each other so that a whole group of people can see what you're writing and people have feedback.
Are these group emails, or did you have a sort of a chat program?
I have no idea.
Okay.
All I know is this. So that's my computer story.
Uh-huh.
I have something to add, and I've heard I've picked this up from Dara a couple of times during this podcast, but talking about loving your dog and how you have a relationship with your dog. And, I know Dara does not like the fact that we let Dexter go out, but that doesn't mean...
Because he kills birds.
That we...
that
we don't love the
dog. Yeah.
That we don't love Dexter any less.
We
love Dexter a lot, he just does not love us back.
But it's so... it's so fulfilling to Dexter to be outside and be in the element. And 99% of the time he gets mice. And he's outside and he gets to hunt and explore and do what cats do. But, the other side of the coin is, no, he should be trained to be in the house. So who loves a cat more to always have a cat in your bed, a dog in your bed with you?
These are fundamentally parenting questions that
it's
my other 3 my friends and co-hosts on the pod, all 3 of them are fathers with teenage kids, and these are things I'm always sort of putting to them. I'm like, how do you guys kind of walk that line between any number of these choices that you have to make?
So it comes down to a choice, and it comes down to your relationship with your pet, and
you're ignoring the environment and birds. Cats decimate the bird population, particularly in the spring. That's my objection. Not that you choose to allow your cat to perhaps get hit by a car. I mean, that is your choice, but it's the environmental perspective of loose cats that I object to.
But what you also sort of what you can also sort of kind of put in as part of that is yes, Dexter does have an impact on the bird population. He's certainly had an impact on the rabbit population of the farm. But what he's also been able to do that as a positive is within the barn itself, where we kind of store and sell apples for the better part of the year. The mice my father said have more or less kind of disappeared solely because of this little serial killer kind of going out
It's
every day.
and that is true. I won't negate that, but my objection to loose cats in general is the decimation.
They can have like a very sort of like they can have an outbalanced kind of like effect on what the ecosystem is.
Oh, they're the number 2 or number 1 reason why songbirds population has gone down. The other is buildings and windows. That they smash into buildings. But yeah, cats have a huge impact on the bird population.
Interesting. Let's kind of like pivot like a little bit, and since we're kind of doing like extra material here, would you like to tell the story of your night in a 200-year-old haunted farmhouse? So like to set up like a little bit, I've been visiting my parents on the farm for a few weeks. I've been staying upstairs. I grew up in this house. I don't believe in ghosts. I have never believed in ghosts and like a big part of my thinking there is that if ghosts were real in any kind of capacity, I would have seen one coming up in this house. That's never been the case. But I come downstairs this morning. I'm making coffee. My father comes walking in the room. He's like, John, like, what's up, Dad? He goes, I got bad news for you. I'm like, what's up? The upstairs is haunted. According to Aunt Dara.
Well, yesterday I was going up, I was staying in Tim's room, and I was putting the bedding on the bed, and I hear something say, feeling better, feeling better, feeling better. And Solveig had just had her knee done, so I was wondering, what is that?
My immediate theory when you're telling this morning is it's actually the ghost of Mom's replaced knee, just floating there, a little, just kind of specter.
Look at its final
I'm
call
feeling
to
better,
me.
Solveig.
Feel better. You got rid of me, so feel better.
Well, then it did it a second time, a little bit later when I was up in the room, thinking, where's this coming from? But then I'd forgotten about it, and I was sleeping, and at 12:30 this morning I hear, feeling better, feeling better, feeling better. It kind of shocked me. And so then I put in some earplugs so I wouldn't hear it anymore. And I told John about it this morning, and it turns out...
So what Mother actually pieced together is I had unplugged, there's a silenced landline phone upstairs that's never really used for anything. I had unplugged it to charge my laptop one night. The phone, though silenced, its battery, I guess, got low enough, and this thing is intelligent enough that it actually started complaining.
And it would do it 3 times.
Yeah.
So John brings the phone. That I said that the only thing it could possibly be is the phone. So he realizes he'd unplugged it, brings the whole unit downstairs. We sit on the table. Dara and I are doing our thing in the morning, our iPads, and all of a sudden it goes, low battery, low battery, low battery.
So battery better.
Yeah.
Better.
Right.
Low and...
But the interesting, Mom clocked it was probably low battery even before we brought like the phone downstairs.
Yep. So she was right.
There we go. Yeah.
She hasn't had any oxy in 12.
I'm off
so
the
her head is,
opioids.
she's thinking. She's thinking now.
She's locked back in.
Yeah.
Mom, have you ever seen a ghost in this house?
No.
There have. Other than last night, how about you?
In this house?
Yes.
No, I don't think I've ever seen a ghost, but I have friends who swear by it. They see cups being moved, and they don't see it moving, but they say they put it in one place and then it's in another place. And, well, that happens to me all the time, but I know it's not a ghost.
It's your landline phone after that.
Yeah, right.
All right. Any other stories you want to tell?
No, I think that was just so funny. That was too good to not talk about.
Okay. All right. Well, let's wrap it up there. Thank you both so much for your time with this. This was a lot of fun.
No problem. It was fun. Yeah.